Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Michael. This is Strada Live. We're coming at you on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on Zoom. And this is live so that we are able to show you what we've been working at Strada and get all your questions answered and show you a really cool demo. In fact, I'm really excited today. We have a special guest, Willis Chung, will be joining us today, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but we're going to show you something really cool with a brand new product from ProGrade that is one of the coolest ways to shuttle, transfer, and share your media. And it's really going to be awesome. I got this about a week ago and I'm going crazy about it. So this new ProGrade digital drive is incredible. But before we get into that, I want to do a little housekeeping here. Why are we here? We at Strada believe that we have become addicted to clouds, that we are so conditioned to use the cloud that we forget that there are other ways to collaborate and share. And when you think about the storage cost, the upload time, and the fact that your internet is slow, it just gets really, really hard. And so we want to turn every single drive. On my desk, I've got big hard drives, small hard drives. I've even got camera cards here. I want all of these accessible. And one of the things that people don't realize about Strada and what we're building is that you look at the slide here, you can see all sorts of drives. It doesn't matter what the drive is. If you can mount it on your computer, it probably works. And so you can share that. Think about it for big hard drives like RAIDs. You can share hundreds of terabytes instantly. One person asked us, how long does it take to process before I can share? 0. There is no processing. It's just instantly share. A DIT said, how long does it take for me to be able to share media off of a camera card? 0. You can plug this camera card, this is a red 8K card, into a reader, connect that over Thunderbolt, and you can share it. Like, it's instant. Like, there's no delay. That's what we're building. It's really different, but it's also really logical, and it's really simple. Just take a drive and share the media through the internet. That's it. Why upload it at all? So that's what we're really after. Now, Cine Dailies is on Instagram. What will pricing look like? I promise I'll get to that, Cine Daily, and you will like the answer. I promise you'll like the answer. I'm not bashful about that. Okay, so I want to go over a few things, what we're going to do today. And for Cine Dailies, I'm going to make an adjustment here because you actually said that. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do pricing, and we're going to add that. All right, on the fly, there you go. Now we've got pricing in there, Cine Daily. Thank you for joining on Instagram. Here we go. We're going to do some housekeeping first. I'm going to talk about the problem with the cloud because I want you to understand why we started this company. It's important to me that you know why we're here, not just what. Sometimes people say, just tell me what to do. Tell me how to do it. Why matters. Simon Sinek wrote a book called Start With Why. You should read it. It is an incredible sort of reprogramming of how your mind looks at problems and communication in general, with why being the most important. So I want to explain to you why we are building this product. And then I want to talk about how it improves access to edit files. Number one question we get from people, how does this help me get footage from a drive to an editor? And we're going to show you how that works. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about the ProGrade drive, and we're going to have a Willis Chung demo. This is amazing because Willis is a big shot celebrity. So we got Willis on the call, and he's going to do something he's never done before. And when we talked to him earlier, he said, do you realize what you have here? And I love that sentiment from Willis. It means a lot coming from him, and I'm excited to see if our demo works. Then I'm going to show you a little bit of our future stuff. I'm going to show you what's coming in July, give you a little sneak peek to that. Then we're going to talk about pricing, and then I'll wrap it all up. In order to do this, this is what it boils down to. We want you to invite your team directly to a drive. And it's so cool because you just invite people to a drive. Think about that. Today, you take a drive, you upload to a cloud, you pay for the cloud, you pay for the storage, and then you pay to invite people to that cloud storage, which means you have the same files in two places because you have a drive and this cloud version. But with Strada, you just invite people to the drive. Get it? You invite them to the drive. It's so obvious, and it's way better, but it is very different. Ian asks, I sent you a DM on Instagram. What's the possibility of using Strada as a motorsport photographer with an editor somewhere else on the track? Is this a solution for photos or only video? I've got good news for you, Ian. We are releasing photo support. I'll have Austin decide the date, but early July. I think it's safe for me to say early July. But if you sign up now, Ian, and you join our Discord, you might get pre-beta access because we need photographers like you to give us that feedback. We want people to have that feedback. So, Ian, I would love, I don't know you, Ian, but if you're interested in being part of our photo beta, I'd like to add you to that beta. And then I'd like you to try it on a project, and then let's have a discussion about it live on YouTube. I would love that. So, Ian, that's an invitation to you if you want to try it. And we'll work with you and build out a workflow so that you can do motorsport, real-time photo transfers. Let's do it. I mean it. We can do that. Alec on YouTube says, our speeds on Strada fixed? It took me 5 minutes to download 300 megabytes. Well, I don't know, Alex. Let's answer that question. Alec is asking about transfer speeds. Now, Alec, if you have a gigabit per second download, but you're pulling a file from someone that only has 10 megabits upload, you can only get the file at 10 megabits, right? Because it's peer-to-peer, the bottleneck will be wherever the file transfer limitation is. And so it's the slowest part of the pipe is always going to be the bottleneck. So you can't always control that. Now, that's the same with Dropbox, Google Drive, whatever. If someone has a bottleneck and they need to upload it or download it from a cloud, that's the bottleneck. That bottleneck still exists, but you don't have to go to a cloud first. Now, if you had transfer problems, Alec, we are adding an upgrade to our transfer service in July. Probably first, second week of July, we're adding some improvements. So if you had some speed issues that aren't related to bandwidth, that is being worked on now. I saw Andre doing some work on it yesterday with Austin, and we're building a solution to improve speeds. So that should happen. Plus, Alec, you'll be able to use that to transfer terabytes. Today, if you transfer more than 10 gigabytes, that gets really hard because we're limited to the browser. But what we're building right now is going to happen outside of the browser. For you in the workflow, it's the same. You're using Strada in the browser, but that's changing in where the transfer takes place. So you should see some improvements in early July, but I would love to know, Alec, if you can talk to us on Discord. Did you have, is there a bottleneck in the bandwidth when you're transferring? So pretty good stuff. Okay, so on this call today, let me jump in the call. We've got some help. I got my brother and co-founder Peter here. He's able to take your questions. And then we've got Margot and Shannon and Austin. And all of us are here to answer your questions. They can send me questions here. I've got an iPad so I can see some of the questions from you. But these sessions go great if you just ask questions. And we're going to have Willis on here. We're going to talk about the future. We're going to talk about pricing. We're going to talk about workflow. And we're going to talk about sharing with editors. So please bring your questions and so that we can help that. Plus, when you ask questions, then it helps other people who are afraid to ask them. Because remember, smart kids ask questions. So it is important that you ask them. And then you're helping actually more people than yourself. So please do that. Okay. I want to thank the community. Some of you have already signed up. Some of you have not signed up. 1,700 people have signed up in the last couple of months. And we just want to say thank you. We really, really appreciate you signing up and trying Strada. And we're getting hundreds of people every week trying this new experience out. So thank you so much. I also want to point you to CineD. If you search CineD or you go to cined.com and you search Strada, Johnny and Nino did an amazing job with telling the Strada story. And we're so thankful for Johnny and Nino and CineD and Jackie. Thank you, CineD, for being such a great component to the community and for helping people with every point of data there is. If you're not a CineD fan, you should become one. Their information is just fantastic, and their amount of data they have that's relevant to workflows today is the best in the business. So I recommend that. And we're thankful that they featured us in their articles and stories, and you can read and see some of that and make comments there. But ultimately, we did win a CineD award, which is behind me there. And maybe I can rack focus to it. There you go. You can kind of see that behind me. But I am just thankful that we won a CineD award for Cine Gear. and thankful for all of you signing up. So thank you so much. So Strada is in beta, and you can sign up right now at strada.tech. That's where you go to get in the beta. And this is really, really important that you can sign up right now. And the reason you're going to want to do this is because of the why. The reason you're going to want to do this is because of the why. This is the cloud storage problem. See, I probably have the same problems you do. My Dropbox is full. My iCloud's full. My Frame.io is full. My Google. No, you are, right? Like, you're getting these messages. All of us get these. Now, if you're a media professional, if you're a storyteller, then think about this. These messages that you're getting, you're going to get forever. When is it going to stop? When are you going to not have more material, photos, video, audio? When are you going to have less of that to upload to the cloud and share? The only way you don't get these messages is either you stop creating, which is a bad plan for your professional career, or you get off the cloud, right? That's it. Well, we're door number 2. That's what we're after. We want to help you get off the cloud, and we want you to be able to collaborate and never get a message that you got to upgrade your storage. That's something we're trying to do. I was getting so many of these messages, and it was so expensive to be able to just do my job because of the cloud storage costs and the collaboration costs, that I just realized we can't afford it. And our users and our beta testers and our friends were having the same problem. So this is the cloud storage problem. Another problem with the cloud is that your files that we shoot are so big. Here is I have a great helium camera, this red helium camera. This shoots about 1 terabyte an hour. 1 terabyte an hour is a beautiful image, but it's really big, and it's hard to store that, right? And so that's a big problem. Our camera files are too big. So that's a problem with the cloud, because the camera files aren't going to get much smaller. Maybe they're never going to get smaller, especially when Blackmagic keeps releasing cameras that have like 17K resolution, right? So we have a camera quality problem. And then your internet's too slow. The average internet in North America is 30 megabits per second. That's it. 30 upload. That is going to take all day. I mean, it would take several days to upload 1 terabyte when you only have 30 megabits per second, because these camera files are more like 1,000 megabits per second, right? So this is a big problem. So your internet's too slow. And then let's say some of you have good internet. I know some of you have way better internet than me. Your cloud storage is too expensive. So even if you have the internet bandwidth to upload to the cloud, it's too expensive for you to put it there. We were talking to Willis earlier. He's got terabytes and terabytes of drives and RAIDs, and he has to decide, well, how am I going to share this? Because I can't afford to put it all on a cloud. And we are going to share that a lot today, because this particular drive here, this ProGrade, this is amazing. It's 8 terabytes. This is an 8 terabyte drive. 8 terabytes of cloud storage would cost you more than $1,000 a month in a lot of services. 8 terabytes is a lot of cloud storage. And to upload 8 terabytes would take you many, many, many days. And so this is a big problem with the cloud. See, products like Frame.io, Dropbox, Google Drive, LucidLink, Box, WeTransfer, these are all cloud products. And this is what we believed in. We have to use the cloud to collaborate. But here's the thing, and check me on this. I believe that you only have about 10% of your footage in a cloud. And I think that's generous. I think most people have like 5% of their footage in a cloud, and something like 95% of their footage is living on a drive. Does that sound familiar? Like, I only have about 5% of my material in a cloud because I can't afford to put the other 95%. So when it comes to collaboration, 95% of the footage I have isn't available remotely. This is a pervasive problem that happens everywhere. And no matter who you are, it is really, really a problem. Seth on Instagram says, I have so much hardware that sits idle 90% of the time. I'd love to do something with the gear to keep it useful. Well, there you go. Strada does help with that, because we're using, I have a MacBook Pro M3 right here, an M3 Max. This thing I leave on all night. It can run in sleep mode, and it's constantly working. And now I've made a $3,000 laptop investment, a server, a processor, a cloud, a collaboration machine, and it works when I'm asleep. so I can share that with my clients and earn money on my computer when I'm asleep. And making money when you're asleep is the best money you can make. So I believe that what's funny about what Seth just said is Seth saying 90% of his hardware sits idle when he's not using it. And I think 90% of your files are sitting idle because you can't share them. Well, wouldn't it be great if you could get access to 100% of your media? Strada takes all of your media, all of your drives, all of your video, all of your files, all of your audio, and it makes it available instantly. There's no processing. There's no waiting. We're talking about seconds here, 10 seconds to share 10 terabytes. I mean it, 10 seconds to share 10 terabytes. We should write that down. That could be a slogan, right? Like 10 seconds and 10 terabytes. It's that good. And we're going to be able to do that. We're going to do it with 8 terabytes today. So we'll do 8 seconds with 8 terabytes with ProGrade. So one way we describe this is Strada allows you to become your own cloud. So instead of paying for third-party cloud storage, you get to be that because you've already invested on it, because you bought all these drives, and all these drives are now your own cloud. So your investment becomes a cloud, which is really, really great. Cindy Dailies asks, what is the limit for the download for the free tier account? You know, we actually haven't determined that yet, Cindy Dailies. We are provisionally putting that information out there. So we're not really sure what the limit is on the free trial, but really the browser is the limitation. See, when you transfer through a browser, the browser can only transfer so many gigabytes, and then the browser will crash. That's just the nature of Firefox and Chrome and Safari. They can't transfer terabytes of media. They don't have the capacity to do that. So the limitation of how much you can transfer is varied. Now, if you transfer small files every day, you could consider that, Cindy Dailies, unlimited, because you could always transfer small files every single day. We're not going to keep track of that. There's no speedometer. There's no odometer. You can just do that. But if you're going to transfer lots of gigs at once, the browser's going to fail on you. And so we're building a way to transfer your files without the browser. We're taking them out of the browser and we're running it in the Strada app in the background. Then you have unlimited transfers, but you're going to pay for the Strada upgrade for us to be able to do that. So you're welcome to transfer small files all day long, just like you can do today. So hopefully that answers your question and makes it available. Okay, so the next question was Alec says, will you be creating an app to avoid the browser? Yes, Alec, that's exactly what we're doing. We actually have the app and it will be invisible. So you will still use the browser, but the transfer won't happen through it. But there's another advantage to that, Alec. And and you should hang on this session today, because at the end of the session, I'm going to show the future updates. And in the future updates, there's a major update coming with our app transfer, and I'm going to show it to you then. So that's pretty cool. Cindy Dailies also asks, what is the limited? Did I get that? I think I got all that. Okay, cool. I got all those. Tim on YouTube says, I can't wait to try this on Windows. Pim, we are trying to deliver Windows by July 1st. Today is June 17th. That's like, 2 weeks from now. So hopefully you'll have Windows in 2 weeks. But I still invite you, Pim, join Strada today and get on the Discord, because when we have a Windows pre-beta, we need Windows people to test it. So don't wait for the Windows to come out. Get in early. Test it for us, help us get it right, and you'll get some early access as well. Okay, so Pim, this is what you can do right now. You go to strada.tech and you can sign up and you can download the agent. When you install the agent, Pim, you can't do that because you're on Windows, but if you're on Apple, you need to be on an Apple Silicon computer. Apple is ending all of the Intel technology. Intel is now 5 years old. Everything is M series and beyond. And so it has to be Apple Silicon, which is computers built from 2020 till now. So those are the computers that are supported. So it can go back to an M1, which came out in 2020. And then what you do is see these little check boxes. You just use these check boxes and you check a drive and it instantly becomes available to share as a cloud. And once it's available, you can then invite people to that drive. And then you go to strada.tech on Chrome. We highly recommend Chrome, by the way. We have nothing against Safari except it sucks. So use Chrome. And then you just connect people to your drives, and then they can play the files back from Chrome. So you take drive access and you make it accessible via Chrome anywhere in the world. No upload, no waiting. And we're going to prove that out in a few minutes. So we want you to be able to invite your team directly to a local drive. That's the point here. I want you all to understand that connection. Invite your collaborators, unlimited collaborators. You can invite them to your drive, and then they can browse the entire drive if you give them access, and they can download if you want them to download, provided they have the bandwidth. So now I want to get into a demonstration. And to do this demonstration, we have a special guest. Before I get to that guest, I want to talk a second about this ProGrade drive. So this ProGrade drive is incredible. The reason this is incredible is because they make a 2 terabyte, a 4 terabyte, and this is the 8 terabyte. Can you see that? Can I get the focus there? Where is it? There it is. Can you see that? 8 terabytes right there. So this is incredible because not only is it 8 terabytes, it's $1,400 for the 8 terabyte, but it's an SSD with USB 4. So this is hyper fast and it's bus powered. So there's no power supply for this. It's bus powered. You can get 2.5 gigabytes per second. This thing gets like 1,800, almost 2,000 gigabits, right? And then it has this nice magnetic base. So if you have a magnet to put it on to hold it down, you could do that, which I actually ended up doing. So this thing is amazing because of the bus power control, the speed, and the fact that it is a super high capacity SSD, high performance, very easy. I just edited a project last week on it where it was all raw files. I did 8K raw files and 12K raw files. I had the Blackmagic 12K Ursa, and I had an 8K Helium, and then I had an Alexa LF. And all of that, I just edited the raw files off of this drive in Final Cut Pro, and I basically had no rendering. It's incredible. So this is a really powerful drive. And how we're going to demonstrate this is we're going to bring on my friend Willis Chung. Willis is amazing. This guy is a serial entrepreneur, been part of many startups, including some big ones like DJI and stuff. He's an amazing entrepreneur. He spent a whole lifetime working in production as a DIT, and then he's got an executive producing a role where he has a production company with his brother called Mad Minds Entertainment, and he's the CEO of Sclera Digital. And before I bring Willis on, I just want to point out how big a fan I am of Sclera. Sclera, if you don't know of Sclera, this might be useful to, I think it was Ian earlier today. You might want to consider this, Ian. Sclera makes the best, highest performing professional mobile hotspots. And you can see some images there. They make mobile hotspots that can go in a backpack or go on a C-stand. They can run off a camera battery, and they use LTE to be able to generate hotspots for bandwidth, but they use cell towers. So you don't need to worry about Wi-Fi. It's an amazing technology. I've been using it for like 4 years, and I use it all the time. It's gotten me out of more jams than I could possibly count. So I'm super thrilled about it. So I want to ask Willis to join here. So Willis, if you wouldn't mind coming on and sharing your camera, and let's welcome Willis to the stage. Let's see here. Okay, Pete, I'm seeing your screen really big right now. I don't know why, Pete, but Willis, I do see you. Can you hear me, Willis?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think there's something weird with my camera again, so I'm going to switch to my
There we
left.
go. Yeah. Hey, we do our best. We do our
Going.
best. Good to see you, Willis. And nice Sclera shirt. Love seeing that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Willis, we're excited to have you here, and hopefully you heard my introduction. People are already probably like, "This guy's amazing," because you are. But what you're here to do today is for us to try this little test. And I think I made up the word. I said I want 8 terabytes in 8 seconds. And so that's what we want to try to do. But this ProGrade drive is an example where I've got probably maybe 4 terabytes of footage on it total. So it's pretty full. And even on good internet, that would not only take a bunch of time to upload, it would be really expensive to store. And so the idea is we're gonna share with Willis this drive. So Willis, tell us where you are right now so that everyone understands we're not in the same place.
Yeah, I'm in my office in Burbank. We have about 5 gigabit per second internet up and down, and currently running my line into a CalDigit TS4, so there is a limitation of 2.5 gigabits per second there. I just did a speed test, 2.5 up and down, and it's working great.
Nice. Well, I do not have internet like that. My internet is piss poor. I have the SoCal Spectrum pathetic 30 megabits per second, but that's good because this is real. This is a real life situation. And on set, no one's going to have 5 gigabits symmetrical. They're going to have 20 to 30 best, right? So I guess my home internet kind of mirrors what you would see with a Sclera modem on a set. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to share my screen first, and we're going to go to Chrome here. And what I want everyone to see is right here, I have the Strada agent. So the Strada agent lives right here at the top. And when I click on that, it just opens the little agent. So that's the agent. And you can see at the bottom, it has external drives. Now, I have not connected the ProGrade yet, but I'm going to do that. So I'm going to, on camera here, hopefully y'all can see this, I'm going to connect the ProGrade, bus powered 8 terabytes, and in about 3 seconds, 2, 1, there we go. We see the ProGrade. And now I've got the ProGrade connected, so I can see that in Strada because that's what Strada is able to do. So if I refresh my page and we see here, let's see here. Let me make sure the ProGrade shows up. And then what I'm going to do here is share that file out with Willis. So I see the ProGrade mounted in Strada, and I'm going to hit invite. And now I have invited Willis to the drive. If I failed to do that, I'm actually going to kick Willis off because we did a test earlier. I want to do that again. So I'm starting Willis at ScleraDigital.com. So this is the invite process. So I'm inviting Willis, and what Strada will do is automatically send Willis an invitation through his email. And so as soon as you get that email, Willis, let me know, and then you could share your screen and show us the email invite on your side.
Okay, I'm standing by. So what I did notice is that it already popped up on my Strada dashboard.
It probably remembers because you were already invited to it, but I'm hoping you re-get the email so we could show people the email access.
Got it. Standing by.
Maybe it won't send because it already knows it did that. So I don't know if you have the email from last night that if you just search me, maybe we could show the email. But once you've been invited, we send an email. I already invited Willis to this drive. So I think Strada's like, I don't need to re-invite you. I already did that. So that's probably something we just realized that Austin's probably like, yes, that's how it works.
Okay, cool. So I did pull up that email from a few days ago. So
Okay.
I'll share my screen very quick. All right, there it is.
Perfect. So Willis gets an email from Strada. It tells him who it's from. So it says it's from me. And it says what the drive is. It's the ProGrade drive because I decided to invite him to the entire drive. So click on check it out. It'll launch Strada. And now you can see in Willis's shared with me section, we actually see the ProGrade drive. And so now I want you to go to the Atlas on the um, bottom right folder. We'll go to Atlas and then go to Helium and then go to the upper left card right there. Yep. And then the first clip. So what I've asked Willis to do, if you look at this and you click on that file right there, can you see how big that file is, Willis?
Yeah, it's half a terabyte.
Okay, so this is Dan Canes. We were with Dan Canes last week. When you hit play, you might have to hit the mute button twice there because it's gonna be loud. But we have Dan Canes. So this is the log file off of a red camera card, and we're actually seeing the red card playback off of the ProGrade. And if you're looking at my computer, for anyone that can see this, it's blinking. So check this out, Willis. I hope people can do this. Pause the playback. Willis, just hit the space bar. When Willis hits the space bar, this drive should stop blinking. Yep. And now hit play again, hit the space bar. And when he hits play, the drive's going to start blinking again. I don't know if everybody caught that, but that is how fast. I don't know if you can see that, Willis, but when you pause, it will stop the drive blinking because it's literally accessing off this drive. So the Pro drive goes idle, then you hit play again, and then the Pro drive is going to start responding again. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's basically like a local drive. I'm accessing your drive from your home.
Yeah. And so Willis is playing a 500 gigabyte file, and Willis skipped to you see minute 73. This is a really long session. So like if you just keep it in play mode, so just keep playing, and then you skip to minute 73, which is way down there at the bottom of the timeline. Yeah, right, way out there. It'll just skip right there. See, there's no cloud buffering, Willis. See, if you go anywhere in the file, it'll just take you instantly to that part of the file because the ProGrade is able to simply seek that quickly.
That's amazing.
So Willis is playing back a 500 gig file. So now, Willis, go back to the ProGrade source. This is log footage, so it doesn't look that good. Let's go to the ProRes XQ. Yeah, if we go to the ProRes XQ, these files, you can see some of these files are also really big, but they're color corrected, so we could show people the quality. So click on like the 25 gig or 35 gig file, and now Willis is loading in a 4K ProRes XQ file. This file is 1,500 megabits per second. And so now on Zoom, it might look a little extra compressed because we're sharing it to Willis, and then Willis is sharing it through Zoom, and then I'm sharing that back out to you. So there's a lot of like boomeranging going around. But Willis, tell us what the file looks like in front of your eyes.
I mean, it looks really, really good. It's something that you can totally edit with.
Yeah, and I guess yeah, you're getting it. There is going to be some compression in this because we are taking a ProRes 4K, but we're converting it instantly. My laptop right here is becoming an instant compression tool that's taking the 4K ProRes, turning it into an HEVC file, and giving that to you in about 250 milliseconds. So when you pause and stop and you skip around, you have about, an eye blink's worth of delay, like a 2 to 3 frame delay maximum when you kind of move around and stuff like that.
So you're doing like real-time transcoding, basically.
Yeah. In fact, if you hold the command button and hit like the back arrow and front arrow left and right, it'll skip to the next take and it'll stay full screen. And you can see relatively quickly how fast you could switch between entire takes when you need to rifle through a full screen experience, which is a nifty way to kind of watch dailies really quickly. And again, none of this was uploaded. In fact, that directory you're looking at is 212 gigabytes, I think, in total size of all the files together. That would take people a long time if they wanted to upload 212 gigs, and they'd have to pay for that. And then you'd have to worry about it. Then you'd have to delete it. But with us, you're able to instantly access these files and shuttle around, which is really cool. So tell us, Willis. Now, Willis has. So I think we're using this ProGrade drive here. Willis, I want to first I want you to share unapologetically. Tell us a little bit about what you think this this experience means for you and the world that you serve.
Oh man, I mean, where do I even begin? Everything from like when we start shooting for when, you're a DIT, if you have like good solid connection, even at 35 megabits per second, the moment you start downloading your clips, as long as you're online, your clients can start reviewing right away, studio networks, everything. And at the same time, even when you're like done with your day, instead of like uploading onto Frame, onto Dropbox, Google, whatever it is that you use for people to immediately download and select takes, uh, you just plug in a drive into your computer and then go into Strada and click on like, I don't know if you can see. Oh, wait, you can't see this right now. Here. Like for me, I just found this out today because today, literally like an hour ago, was when I first started plugging this thing in. And I'm like, wait, so all I have to do is just plug in a drive and click on this checkbox and then share that folder. It's like to me, that's pretty disruptive to all cloud services. Being, peer to peer, you give people instant access to your drive without uploading into a middleman first.
That's right. That's what we're after here. And because you already own the computer and you already own the drive and you're paying for the internet service provider, the transaction that we're demonstrating here is free. And I know there was a person, I think it was Cindy Daly's was the handle this morning, asked, what's the pricing of this? Everything Willis and I are doing is part of our free plan. We're not charging for the experience that Willis and I are doing. That's part of the free account. So Willis, I want you to go back into Strada and share a folder with me in your, I see you have a Sclera 8 terabyte drive on your side. Can you navigate into that and then go into something that's safe to share with me?
Yeah, why don't I plug another drive in?
Okay, okay.
This one right here, MadMind's 8 terabyte 01. So I plugged it in earlier and it saw it,
Yep,
disconnected it. So now when I refresh, and by refreshing, I just mean I bookmarked it.
yep,
Here it is, right?
yep.
All right, so I'm going to share michael@strada.tech. And right now it's viewer. I'll send you as an invite.
Great.
So
So now this is the power of the Strata network. See, I invited Willis to my drive, and in his browser here, it says shared with me, Mr. Cioni. Now, to close that loop, Willis is sharing back with me. This is the power of a decentralized network, a network that you create, right? Because it's your collaborators and your team, and you don't have to worry about who is uploading to a cloud and stuff like that. Oh, did we get the message right? Or you're doing a different drive? Okay, so I'm going to stop. So you stop sharing your screen, Willis, and I'm going to share mine now. And I'm going to go to my email so that we can look at what came in from Strata. So let me share my screen. And now we see Willis shared with me this MadMind's 8 terabyte drive. So if I say check it out, it will launch Strada. And now let me close this. Let me close this. See, I have a lot of accounts. So you can see on the left here, Willis, see, in my world, I've got all these people connected. Some of them are offline, and it lets me know who's online and who's offline. Others are online. So I can see Willis's MacBook Pro. I can see the MadMinds folder. And now, just like it looked like for you, I can see dog color, the MOV, a 5 gig file, and we can see that right here. And that's pretty beautiful footage, actually. I like it. Who is that guy?
that's the dog that we hired to be in this robot lawnmower commercial.
Oh, nice, nice. You hired the dog. I hope you had a good audition. That's good.
Yeah, dogs are not cheap.
Good dogs, camera dogs are not cheap. Yeah. So here we could see some of these files that Willis has got. I can look at them full screen, and I can browse through that. So he's given me access to this. Now, if Willis only wanted to give me access to a specific directory, I want to show you, if I go back to the ProGrade drive and I go to HEVC clips and I only wanted someone to see just this drive, I could invite them just to this drive. So see, the plus button at the top allows me to control what directory they're in. So this one is just called HEVC. So when I hit the plus, it says invite to HEVC, and it will only send that drive. So you can, I'm sorry, it will only send that folder. So you can control who has access to different directories. So when you have a large RAID, Willis, you don't have to give people carte blanche to the entire directory. You give them just access to what you want them to see. Does that make sense?
Yeah, can we actually show that very quick?
Yeah.
So I am on a specific folder in that same drive.
Yep.
I want to share this one transcoded folder to you.
Okay.
All right.
So Willis is going to share with me a specific folder only. So did you invite me to that?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'll go here and I see it's just called, it's going to be a different directory here, just the M1 agent test. Is that what you shared with me?
That is not, I think you're on the wrong drive.
Oh,
Or
I am. Sorry. Let's see here.
oh, right there. Yeah, yeah.
This one.
Right there.
That's it. So he just shared with me the transcode folder, and now I only see the transcode folder. Even though that might live on one of these drives, it's now designated as a specific location, right? And then I go into that, and now I can see the FX6 footage right here. And now we're playing back camera original FX6 files. Oh, that's a cool robot. Is this a lawnmower robot?
It's a lawnmower, yeah.
Nice. Nice. Reminds me of Illinois when I had to mow the lawn as a kid. I wish I had a robot doing that for me. So this is what Willis shared with me. And now he's controlled what he shared with me. And Strada only shows me that. So if you removed these other drives, Willis, they would go away. And the transcode would only remain if you revoked my access. So revoking access, you can click on my name and then you can see the 3-dot menu and say remove.
All right, so I'm going to remove you right now.
So Willis is removing me. And now if I go down to the Willis drive, we'll see what happens here. I don't know if I have access still. Maybe it's still going through the process of removing me. So yeah, so that's the plus and minus experience of adding people and removing people. So Gentleman on IG says this workflow would also work with photos. I also do BTS, so delivery would be easier than uploading to a cloud drive. So Gentleman, I want to let you know that today we can preview photos, but we can't put them in the player. You can see thumbnails of photos. Do you have any photos on your stuff, Willis? I don't know.
Yeah, let me take a look.
I probably have photos right here on mine. So if I go to company photos, so Gentleman Yevis, I don't want to say that wrong, but if I look here, I can see some final photos here. So it will start loading the thumbnails of these photos, but I can't load them into the player yet. We're working on that. So there's the photos coming in. So you can see the JPEGs right there. But when I click on a photo, it doesn't load in the player just yet. However, if I wanted to, download this file, I could now say, oh, I want these 3 photos. I hit download, and now a file transfer has begun, and I am starting to transfer these files from another agent. So we have the ability for Strada to start negotiating a peer-to-peer connection. And as soon as it negotiates that, it'll start the transfer. So you can use this for delivery of BTS because you have a drive. You could just put the card in the card reader and share the drive, and your client could start downloading if you wanted. So here comes the download. So now we can see the transfers happening on my horrible internet at home. So I'm going to cancel that because I don't need these photos. But you can see photography is coming in July. And we have thumbnails right now. You just can't see it in the big player. That will come. So, based on all that, Willis, I want to show the community what is coming next. But I did notice here, because Willis is really good with drones. I saw you have a drone stuff here, and I know your drone footage is always amazing. Um,
Oh, I didn't fly the drone. But actually, Michael, I think just while you're testing the download upload kind of workflow, can you actually go into the other drive, the Sclera 8 terabyte?
yeah,
I want to like just see because I have good uploads, and then your download is probably, I'm assuming, a
a little
gigabit.
better. Yeah. So, where do you want me to go to?
So if you go to DJI Pocket 3
Yep.
and yeah, this is just the BTS, so any one of those, sure. And then so if you like just scroll down and just I don't know, just download like the last 8 clips or something like that.
Okay. Well, they're so big that even my internet will have trouble. So I'm just gonna grab uh several. I'm gonna grab this file and this file and this file, and I'm gonna grab 3 clips here at random, and we'll let this negotiate a transfer. So it's going to set up a peer-to-peer connection between your machine and my machine, and that's what it's negotiating. And that takes about 15 to 25 seconds for that connection to be established. Once it builds the route and finds the shortest path to each other, and then it'll start the transfer. Now, since Willis has major upload speeds, this should only be governed by my potential download speed, which should be reasonable. So we'll see. However, once it starts, should start any second now. This is what gets exciting for what our release is in July, because our July release is going to be really, really exceptional. So I'll let that keep negotiating. And I want to show some releases here. So there's a couple things coming, and I think you're going to like this, Willis. One of the things that's coming with our stuff is you will be able to take that viewer button and you can actually control what are their privileges. Are they just a viewer, or are they can they download it? Are they an admin so they can do everything to it? Or are they also an editor? So you get to control what people's permissions are when you invite them. And you can see at the bottom here, Margot's an editor, but Earl is a downloader and Pallavi is a downloader. So you can control that experience. Very similar to Google Docs, right? You have that. So that's really significant. Let me check if this is going up. The download finished. It happened, Willis. All right. I'll grab some bigger files. That was me while we were talking. It set up the transfer, and as soon as it connected, I guess your bandwidth helped push that stuff really quick. So I'm adding about 1.5 gigs here of transfer. So we'll keep that in mind. I will move this over so we can see when that starts on the next one. So that's an important thing that we're adding. The other thing that we're adding is this. This is so cool. We are adding, wait a second, not this one. We're adding this. Here you can see you can do a agent to agent transfer. Now, this is a paid upgrade, but a paid upgrade would allow you to actually transfer your files and put them on my ProGrade drive without me even having to download it myself. So if you knew that I was the editor and I'm going to need these files, you have them, you just push them to me when you're ready to give them up, right? You can invite me to the drive, but I can invite you to the drive, and then you can drag and drop on the drive. So you're just dragging a folder onto someone else's drive. See? And then it will transfer, and you'll be able to see which transfers are yours and which ones are other people. So you'll see I'm receiving a file from you. I can see a transfer coming or going, and then transfers that I initiated. So you'll be able to do that. That second directory finished. So let me just check my downloads and make sure I got all that. Yeah, I don't know. It's saying it's finished, but I'm not seeing the transfer happen. So we got to look into that. I don't know if that's an Earl issue or an Austin issue, but I am doing a peer-to-peer transfer. And Austin and Earl, we're only seeing the start, and I'm not actually seeing it transfer, and I'm not getting the results. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. So Willis, your internet is so good. It's so good. I can't even use it. I don't know. So we'll figure out what's going on here. But I know people are transferring successfully on a regular basis, so this shouldn't be a bug, but it appears to be with me today. We'll see if that comes back. But people should test this, try it out. Let us know if you're having issues. I'm having an issue right now where Willis is trying to transfer me these files, but I'm unable to see them come to my downloads. But the transfer looks like it's supposed to. Anyway, so then the other thing is it's important to note that we are building these transfers from agent to agent so you can push. So yeah, oh, I see, Austin. There is an error, Willis. I'm not even reading this because my brain's doing so much. It's giving me a green checkbox, but it says 0 bytes transferred. So it's actually failing right now. I don't know why it's failing, but it is not establishing a peer-to-peer connection between us because it's just trying and then it's not transferring the files. So there's obviously a bug, and we'll look into that. One thing I can show you, Willis, and everybody is if you right-click on your agent, you can actually go to troubleshoot, view logs, and then it surfaces the log. And so you could send us the log and we can read the log and see what the issue might be. So it's an easy way for people. You just right click, hit troubleshoot, and then it takes you to the log folder and you just give us the most recent log, which for me would be at the bottom. There you go. So that is something we can do to try to fix this problem. So I don't know why this isn't working right now. That's a little funny, but I'll try one more file and see if it works. But maybe I'm having a problem with multi-files for some reason because I was doing multiples, but you shouldn't be able to do that. All of this improves when we release agent-to-agent transfers, which is coming in July. So that's important. So the other thing that I wanted to share is what the pricing is. And remember, we talked about the pricing of this, and I said that the person at the beginning would like this because it's what everything we showed you right now is free. That's connecting as many drives as you want, inviting as many people you want, and transferring small files. You can transfer unlimited small files through the browser when it works. Today it's not, so we'll work on that, but normally that would work. Where it goes to a paid plan, which is a paid plan that's going to be somewhere between $15 and $30 a month. We're working those prices out. This is tentative pricing, estimated pricing. Don't hold us to this. It's estimated, but it allows you to do private commenting and transferring to others. You can push files to each other, which is really cool. This is great for delivering to editors because when you have the files ready for an editor, you can push it directly to their drives, which means you can push it clip by clip if you wanted to, or mag by mag. You don't have to wait till it's all uploaded to a cloud and push it all at once. You can do it in sections or in clips, which is really great. And then we'll be using the application to do the transfer, so we won't have these hiccups that the browser is giving us right now. And then there'll be add-ons such as synchronous review and AI transcriptions and things like that. So we're adding more features to the product for additional fees. And then if you needed to do a bulk purchase, for example, you can save some money and like say, okay, I have a team of 5. We're all going to have agents and we can give you some price discounts when you have multiple agents on the same plan. So this is essentially what we're trying to do. Hopefully when you see this pricing, you realize we're trying to make this creator friendly. Like this is not, we're not trying to sell this just to studios and enterprise customers. We want this to be affordable for everyone. And remember, your drives are the storage. And that's a really important thing. Jay Arbalo Film says, with Strada, could you transfer a library from an NLE or is it just the raw footage? You could transfer anything. So if I were to look at a directory like this and I went to, gosh, I have to think of something that is a file type. Oh, I probably have it on my desktop, right? If I go into my desktop, I can go into files that are not video. And so that's an important thing here. So if we look here, these are stills. I don't know. A lot of this is okay, here's like PNGs. In other words, it doesn't matter what the files are. You can transfer project files. You could transfer CAD files. You could transfer anything. It doesn't really matter what it is in those transfers. So yeah, so that's our pricing. And we're excited about that. And we want to invite you to join our Discord. My brother will put a Discord invite in the chat because we want you to come to our Discord. And if you sign up for strada.tech, you can join the Discord and then you can chat with us. And if I go to the Discord, it's full of great discussions, great feedback, great issues, bug fixes that we got to make, lots of great insight from the community here. We love seeing all the feedback that people provide. And so this is really good stuff. So please sign up and join the Discord so that we can communicate with you, capture your feature requests, work out bugs, give you tech support. And then that helps us make the experience even better. So I'm going to wrap this up today. This was an awesome day. And I want to thank again Willis for being here. Willis and Sclera Digital is an amazing resource for the community. We're so thankful that Willis has been certainly serving my workflows for years. And I'm so thankful to you, Willis, for all that support you've done. If you need high performance, professional grade mobile hotspots, Sclera Digital is where you go. You go to Willis, you go to Sclera, and here's the website again. This is scleradigital.com. You go to Sclera. They have mobile hotspots that I use literally every day. And they're incredible. I do entire trade shows completely off of Willis's technology. And that's a big deal because a trade show is really expensive. And Willis saves me money by using his hotspot instead of the convention center. And I'm able to demonstrate products that require the internet with a hotspot that Willis provides. And that's the truth. So we're thankful for that. Before we go, Willis, anything left to add for our community here?
No, I mean, I just wanted to say thank you for being a constant supporter and collaborator of Sclera. As far as ProGrade, that's not me, but that is a client of Mad Minds, and they constantly have very innovative readers and SSDs, and even like this little flash drive that you think is a flash drive, but it's actually a 2 terabyte SSD. So in the shell of a flash drive, so you don't get that limitation. So they're constantly trying to create products for professionals, or actually technically for creators, prosumers, but at the professional level. So progradedigital.com is their website. They have really good readers, really good memory cards, everything from CF Express Type A, Type B, CFast, SD, micro SD. And yeah, I think technically you could just put a memory card in a reader and then you can mount that onto Strada, right?
That's right. That's what it's all about. 8 terabytes in 8 seconds. That's what we want, right? Before we go, there were a couple of quick questions. Chris from YouTube says, you mentioned small files on the free tier. Is there a file size cap? Yeah, your browser will fail around 10 gigabytes, maybe less. It just depends. So Chris, you're going to have to, you can use the free tier to transfer files, but when they fail in large batches, that's the browser, like mine did today. There are limitations to browser transfers, especially when you do big files. Jay Arbalo Films, can you transfer a project, say in Final Cut, and someone open it in their Final Cut? You can actually transfer a project. There's no problem with that, Chris. You can transfer anything, and you can transfer project files this way. You can transfer media, and you can play back the media. This is our key to remote editing. We really believe that remote editing is the future, and a lot of people work that way today, but we don't want people to have to edit off clouds. It doesn't really work that well. So our agent-to-agent transfers will help Chris with getting files to and from. And then we will be working on remote editing, and we're going to do it in phases. I think next week, maybe I'm going to do a session on how our path to remote editing is going to be done. I'll disclose our path and some projected dates. So we'll dive more into that. And then Gentleman asked about color correction. I just want to say, Gentleman, you can use Strada to share and review color sessions, but the color is controlled by the browser. Chrome and Safari and Firefox all have different ways to interpret RGB. And so therefore the colors are only as accurate as the browser provides, which we do not have control of in a web browser tool. So just want you to know that. However, that might be a good reason for us to build an Apple TV app or an Apple iPad app, because those you can control the color and they look really good. So with that, again, thank you, Willis, for being here today. Thanks for everyone else being here today. We're so thankful for each of you, 1,700 people signing up. Please sign up. Please try it. Please tell your friends and come back every Tuesday or send your friends here on Tuesdays so that we can talk more. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks again, Willis. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.